Good evening. I'm just a regular guy, and I'm sitting here thinking about what would be a viable solution to the homeless crisis that we have out on the West Coast. I was down in San Francisco, and I was just aghast at downtown San Francisco of the bodies lying in the sidewalks, passed out, living in filth, living in excrement, with people just walking over them. And I left San Francisco, and I noticed that as I was approaching the Golden Gate Bridge on the left, leaving San Francisco, was the entire mothballed Presidio base. Why in the world don't we utilize the infrastructure that we have to initiate a very sympathetic, humane way to address homelessness? These people are there and they're breaking civil laws. They're creating a public health risk. They need to be taken to a processing center like the Presidio, which exists, hundreds of thousands of square feet of improved space for shelter and with basic plumbing needs, and start documenting and triaging these people. The triage would include assessments of physical and mental health, of physical and mental ability, and be able to transit them into existing programs that could meet their needs. And from there, just have the ability to responsibly and humanely deal with these folks. You can't tell me that's humane just to let them live and die on the streets in squalor and cause the rest of the population to be exposed to the diseases and the spent syringes with God knows what in them, and really be proactive. And I realize that it would take a tremendous political will to do this, but we have the means. You look at, and I'm not sure of the numbers, but I'm sure somebody would have an idea of how much the homeless in San Francisco, say, cost the city. And then weigh the options of being able to process them, triage, and in some way, somehow get them the assistance they need to get back on track and live a productive life. And I understand that the legal system and the ACLU would just cry foul that you just can't do that. But again, let's address and keep in mind the public health risk to others. The same thing, and only amplified, is down in LA with police officers and other service providers ending up coming down with dreadful third world diseases, all because of the squalor and very unhygienic place that they live and call home. And up in Seattle, the same thing. And so we've got to get over the idea that, it would just be inhumane to try and be proactive and get these people into centers where they would be processed, given a chance to at least clean up and somehow address their needs. And it's doable, but again, it would just take political will, and you'd have to be ready to fight all the slings and arrows of the liberal left, that we'd be somehow interdicting in their lives and forcing them to do something they don't want to do. But the reality is, again, they are in violation of city ordinances by the activity they're doing. And so pick them up, transport them to a safe and humane area, triage them, and get them in the pipeline for existing programs that can address their needs. Thank you for listening. Good night.